I want to briefly talk about the Panda situation. If you thought I was going to come on here and air out all my public stuff and give you guys tea and, oh, she did this and I did this, but she did that and, oh, I did. You clearly haven't been watching me very long.
Ladies and gentlemen, Slummy viewers, if you haven't seen, as of recently, CoryxKenshin's allegations has been the center of attention yet again. We have lots of responses, with lots of new information, including a response from CoryxKenshin himself. Like I usually do towards the end of a big situation, I like to compile all of the videos into one big compilation for new viewers and people who just want something for background noise. So without further ado, let's dive into this compilation.
Seen some alarming evidence these past few weeks, and I'm speaking in support of the victims who have recently come forward about some concerning behavior regarding a previous friend of mine, who a lot of you may know as CoryxKenshin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Slummy viewers, that person right there is MavAttack, CoryxKenshin's former friend who has decided to continue on with CoryxKenshin's recent allegations. If you don't know what I'm talking about, these are the accusations from nearly 2 months ago now. If you want to know about the situation up until this point, I have 3 videos up on the channel that go over every single detail of the situation and explain it to you. Recently, this YouTuber MavAttack has released 3 videos on CoryxKenshin, but before we get into those, if you haven't already, please consider leave a like, subscribing and hit the notification bell. It really helps out the channel, especially if you do enjoy the content. But without further ado, let's get into the topic at hand.
Or Mav. I've seen some alarming evidence these past few weeks, and I'm speaking in support of the victims who have recently come forward about some concerning behavior regarding a previous friend of mine, who a lot of you may know as CoryxKenshin. Cory and I met in 2014 and soon after became best friends for years until I cut ties with him in 2023. In March of 2023, I released a video on my channel explaining a few of the reasons why he and I were no longer associating or going to be doing collaborations anymore.
Now, something that I think is incredibly important to mention is this is MavAttack's first video in almost 2 years, and it's a video on CoryxKenshin, one of his former friends. Lots of people have pointed out that this video just screams of saltiness, jealousy, and that this person is obviously biased. I mean, that's only echoed because for 2 minutes, this guy is just waffling on about his own personal experience with CoryxKenshin, and more importantly, his fans and the backlash he's had from his fans.
Away from YouTube without updating his obsessed audience, I'd then reach out to ask him if he could post on social media saying he's okay and to leave his friends and family alone, which would always conclude with him saying that's just how he is. He was going to do what he wanted regardless of how much it would hurt the people he claimed to love and care for. A couple common misunderstandings taken from this video were that I never communicated with Cory about his breaks and the harassment I was facing.
Sorry, who honestly gives a flying fuck? And this is coming from somebody who isn't a CoryxKenshin fan, has probably watched about 5 CoryxKenshin videos ever, who genuinely gives a flying shit. Ultimately, CoryxKenshin has no obligation to update his fans on his whereabouts. It's incredibly unfortunate that people received harassment from CoryxKenshin fans over this, but ultimately CoryxKenshin has no obligation to do that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, blah 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 blah, give a bit of sympathy, move on. I personally want to hear about the accusations from a couple of months ago, so let's jump to that bit.
Recently, Panda Ninja, who was an ex-girlfriend of Cory's, spoke out about her time being with him on and off through the years from 2016 onward, providing videos, screenshots of text message conversations, and her perspective of their time together. I met Panda in August of 2017, where myself, Panda, and Cory all spent time in person. Not only did I meet Panda, but I got to see her and Cory's chemistry around each other. Based on my own personal conversations with Cory and my time around both him and Panda, I believe her account and confirm that the messages align with what I witnessed.
Which ultimately is because towards the end of that situation about a month ago, Panda Ninja basically walked back a bunch of stuff and said they had a brand new perspective. As this accuser has actually taken down all her videos except from the clarification video that we just broke down. She has taken it all down, and this is because she changed her mind and was kind of awoken by a video some TikToker uploaded 2 of these videos from this TikToker. Then took to her story to say, so I watched his video and I got a different point of view, then linked to the account. This was further reiterated by a comment with somebody that she spoke to directly, and it very much seemed like she had changed her perspective. But now when you go on her TikTok account, all the videos are now back up officially, and she's had some like weird mental breakdown. With all due respect, why would anyone believe her at this point or trust what she's actually saying? Because she switched up several times and gone back on what she said, and the whole entire situation is an absolute mess.
Shortly after Panda's story circulated, another woman reached out to Panda with more proof of Cory's terrible behavior with women, disregarding personal boundaries, and even going so far as to have close friends keep tabs on what these women were saying and doing on their social media accounts. accounts. In 2015, I received a YouTube DM from a woman who was close friends with Cory at the time, asking for clarification about their friendship, wondering if there was more of a romantic interest by the way he would speak to her. I couldn't provide any clarity though, and I didn't think much of it at the time. A few years ago, she replied to a YouTube comment on her channel, updating someone about her and Cory's friendship, and stated that they weren't friends anymore due to him believing what a fan said about me, and yelled at me for being a terrible person.
When it comes to something like this, you've got to be realistic and take it at face value, which would be, this is a YouTube comment. There is no proof. This is just somebody's quote-unquote experience with CoryxKenshin. There is really nothing that you can do with this. Nobody should just be blindly believing this or jumping to conclusions based off of a YouTube comment.
Another person who I believe is a victim in all of this, who, out of respect for her privacy, I won't mention by name, is a woman I met early on in Cory and I's friendship, who happened to be a long-time on and off high school girlfriend of Cory's. In between all of his questionable relationships with women, it seemed to me there was always someone he could fall back on. I recall one situation where Cory had a random woman come out to his house, when his girlfriend came over unannounced and awkwardly found Cory and the woman in his bedroom. This is just a subtle glimpse into how Cory treats his relationship with women.
Again, ultimately there is no proof of any of this. This is just this guy talking and saying what he thinks, his perspective, his view, and what he wants to say. And ultimately people aren't believing this guy because of his history with CoryxKenshin and the absolute behemoth of a monologue towards the beginning of this video that gives off that this guy is salty, jealous, he's got ulterior motives, and he's biased towards Cory.
And scrutiny you'll face when dealing with a massive slice of the internet, especially when speaking your truth about a large figure in that space, and how easy it is to spiral, causing one to potentially change information on their account, hide content, or even deactivate altogether. You can't know how to handle or manage when you're going through that constant pressure, especially if you've never experienced anything like that.
I'm sorry, but surely if you are making a public accusation against one of the world's biggest content creators, you'd expect some type of reaction. Some type of reaction from the audience, some may be negative, some may be positive. Surely you would expect that. And don't expect people never to mess up in a situation like this. It's always going to happen, it's always going to occur. That is only natural. But with all the mistakes that were made in this situation and with what transpired, I think we're talking about a different kettle of fish here.
They're also known as Panda Ninja, the one you mocked, misquoted, and tried to bury under your projections. Guess what? I'm still here. Surprised to see us in the same video? Yeah, we figured. Instead of letting strangers rewrite the story, we're saying it ourselves. Direct and unfiltered. Awkward, isn't it?
Oh wow, you really got an own there. It's awkward, isn't it? I just don't take someone seriously when this is their approach. Can we focus at the stuff at hand, not trying to belittle the audience and trying to, get an own on them?
And no, I didn't post every detail. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means I was protecting myself from him and from the internet circus that never shuts the fuck up. Also, y'all ran with some SA shit I never even said. Not once, not hinted at all. But because reading is hard and critical thinking is extinct, you turn your own fake headline into a whole narrative.
This is something I spoke about extensively on this channel. I even made a whole video going over the lies and misinformation on both sides, to the people that were supporting Panda Ninja and the CoryxKenshin fans that were going against Panda Ninja. Panda Ninja then goes on to speak about the lies and misinformation that was being spread and the narratives that people were buying into. The fact that people were getting things wrong, like saying that the messages weren't from Discord, when ultimately it's because they weren't from Discord, they were from Xbox, but people weren't taking a look at the actual evidence or information.
Worst part, he chose to sit back and let it happen. This is the man who calls himself a Christian. He allowed harassment to happen in his name. He stayed silent while others did the fighting for him, and he built a brand on values he never lived by. Christian on Sunday, manipulator every other day. Tell me, what's Christian about that?
Sorry, but Panda Ninja's absolute arrogance and ignorance here is just completely misplaced. You put stuff out there, you got backlash, and people lied and spread false narratives. That's for you to clear up, not CoryxKenshin. Whilst there was a lot of misinformation and false narratives that were being spread that weren't caused by Panda Ninja, there are a lot that were, and that's for her to clear up, not hoping that Cory will come out and do it for her, when realistically, if he's going to come out and say anything, it's going to be directly responding to her accusations about him, not trying to wrangle his fans. Now, I understand to a certain degree why Panda Ninja would want to speak on this in this video, clear up some misconceptions, but she sits here for ages talking about basically every single little thing that people said about her and then going against it.
And harassed while trying to process trauma in real time, just to be told you're doing it wrong. People expected me to know how to explain something I was still trying to process while being watched, doxxed, cyberbullied, interrogated, and judged the entire fucking time. I didn't owe y'all shit, because who the fuck are you? Were you in the bed with me and him?
Ultimately, people can only go off of what you've said, and if you mess up what you're trying to say, then again, what do you expect? Ultimately, as well, the things she's saying in this video have not helped her. It's made her look more deranged and look worse from a public perspective. For example, she starts talking about misogyny, and then she goes on to deny the sex working accusations, and then goes on a rant about that. Why?
While we're here, let's kill another rumor. No, I don't have an and I'm not a worker. Never have, not now, not then. There are fake accounts out there pretending to be me, using my pictures, spinning lies, and y'all ran with it like idiots. Again, no, I'm not a worker or an OF model, but the way you weirdos obsessed, maybe I should open one just so you can finally put your money where your mouth is. At least then your broke asses would actually be paying me instead of lying about me for free. I promise, in my perspective, Cory will be my first subscriber though. Right next to all my haters and enemies, you'll be lined up paying me just to lurk.
Like why? Why are we doing this? Why are we acting like this? What's the point? And ultimately, you want people to take your story seriously and understand where you're coming from and your point of view. People aren't going to do that when you're saying that your haters and CoryxKenshin will be lining up to try out your OF.
I've got nothing but respect for actual workers. They hustle, they grind, and they deal with the same harassment, shaming, and stigma I see y'all try to throw at me. The difference is they don't deserve it either. Women and men in that line of work put up with enough bullshit already.
I'll move on from this now, but I just wanted to play this because I just didn't believe it when I was watching this video. When I saw this, I was just left speechless. What she speaks about towards the end of this as well is about her birthday wish. She wanted to meet Dashi, and Cory apparently didn't like that, and then would try and use Dashi's name against her, and would get kind of annoyed anytime he was mentioned or brought up.
Even when he was literally hanging out with Dashi, he'd bring him up in our conversations just to see how I'd react. I'd play it off jokingly or change the subject because what else could I do? But really, it was another way for him to test me, to try to get a rise out of me. So later, he could flip it around and find a way to blame me. The Dashi stuff was just one example of a bigger pattern. Cory constantly threw subliminals or little digs, not just about Dashi, but about other things too, because he wanted control over the narrative and how I responded.
Again, it should be noted that all of this stuff is testimony.
The lie he spread. Cory told Mav that I cheated on him and went back to an ex. He made me look horrible in front of him, but here's the truth. Mav has seen every receipt. He knows the facts now. I never cheated on Cory, not once, not at all. And here's the real timeline. We were together from December 2016 until February 5th, 2017. After that, we were both broken up for 6 months. 6 months. During that time, I was single and I dated 2 people briefly, one for 1 month, one for 2 months. That was my right because we weren't together. Then in mid-August 2017, Cory and I got back together. That's when I met Mav for the first time. What makes it worse, I had a gut feeling for years that he did, but I couldn't confirm it. So I told people he didn't cheat on me until I saw the proof. And that shit pissed me off because now, after all these years, I realized he could have given me an STD. He never told me he had multiple partners. He told me straight up that he wasn't seeing anyone else, that he loved me. It was a facade. Bullshit. And let me clear this up once and for all, since some of y'all love inventing pregnancies out of thin air. I was never pregnant by him, not by any man from that time, not now. I've only had one pregnancy in my life, and she is 17 years old. That's it.
Yeah, she's talking about receipts and proof, but we never see any of those receipts or said proof. If you are going to make a public accusation like this, and you are mentioning receipts and proof, and then you don't show them, people aren't exactly going to believe what you are saying.
Practically gift wrapped this subliminal for me. Y'all think you're protecting him, but you really just exposed him. Behind closed doors though, he was still reaching out. He told Mav with a face palm that I contacted him, and he said to him, I wish she'd leave me alone, but I want her one last time. That's some narcissistic shit. Plain and simple. In public, I'm the crazy ex.
So that was the first video on CoryxKenshin from MavAttack. Now, he uploaded a second video where he's responding to hate comments because this video has been heavily panned online.
Deep into the comments section of the last video because something that was a very serious topic, a very serious statement and discussion was not only not taken seriously, but I feel like most of you didn't even get past a couple minutes into the video.
I do really like in his first video, he tries to convince everyone that he's not a clout chaser, only to then milk it by just reading the comments.
But you move your goalposts as far back as you need to find your point, to get your point. Now, the thing is I feel like there's a lot of little kids in here, many little kids, younger kids. This is generations, right? This is Gen Z, older Gen Z, medium, younger Gen Z, and then the generation below coming up on social media, brainwashed by their devices, constantly having their dopamine receptors fried because their parents are miserable, irresponsible pieces of shit who have decided to not swallow the cum and actually have the child, and now you have contributed to the rot of this world by raising these stupid little fucks that come on the internet and leave all these hateful comments and think that they're safe behind usernames like there's no consequences to their actions. Trust me, buddy, this isn't real life shit that you guys want to get involved in. Trust. So sit your little asses down, maybe have a snack and a nap, get ready for fucking school because it's happening soon, and lock the fuck.
What a lot of the video is, he just comes off as completely unhinged. I honestly don't know why he decided to read these comments outside of trying to get a quick bag. And MavAttack's third video was the best moments of like him and CoryxKenshin throughout the years.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of MavAttack. So Cory and I have a huge project together that I'm actually working on right now. Here, I'll show you.
Speak up and be truthful and honest. It's been difficult for you to do
Oh,
that.
and also the reason I put 100 videos on my YouTube community tab wasn't to mock Cory for not uploading, but because he wanted to pass the torch to me so I could shoot for 100 videos myself. But in the meantime, while I work on that, he wanted me to take over. So while I'm editing to get this video done, here is a compilation of our best moments together, even featuring clips the internet has never seen before.
Again, this is just another clear attempt at trying to get some more money. This is just clearly a cash grab. I really like as well, lots of people pointed out in the comments that of course these two have not had a conversation and that clip is from a previous video. Also uploaded some bizarre YouTube short as well, and it genuinely feels like we're watching like a man's descent into absolute madness. I honestly don't know what he's doing. I don't know what this is meant to be about anymore. It's just completely deranged and unhinged. Before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to read something out that Panda Ninja recently put up on her TikTok account. If you've never had to defend yourself before, when lies get thrown at you, silence isn't an option. That's why I keep going, and nothing the samurai can say will change that. God don't like ugly, and people like them will have to face him first.
Next, I want to talk about the Panda situation. Number 1.
So recently, YouTuber CoryxKenshin has returned to YouTube after being gone for a little bit of time. And it's safe to say that his return has brought some very mixed reactions and a lot of fan backlash. But before we get into this, if you haven't already, please consider leave a like, subscribing and hit the notification bar. It really helps out the channel, especially if you do enjoy the content. But without further ado, let's get into the slop at hand. One thing I have to mention that's pretty important to some of the fan backlash is that whilst CoryxKenshin was gone, he received allegations. Now, I've made a plethora of videos going over this extensively, even pretty recently with some of the updates with MavAttack.
Know the full story, you don't know the people involved, but you swear you understand what I've been through? You've clearly never been doxxed, cyberbullied, and harassed while trying to process trauma in real time, just to be told you're doing it wrong? People expected me to know how to explain something I was still trying to process while being watched, doxxed, cyberbullied, interrogated, and judged the entire fucking time.
And as I've already established, this situation is an absolute mess, so when CoryxKenshin returned and didn't immediately address these accusations, or at least mention them, there was some fan backlash from that. But let's actually take a look. What did Cory actually say when he came back?
Samurai, stand up! Sorry about the poor communication. That's my bad. But like I said at the beginning of the year, 100 videos.
This is one thing CoryxKenshin's incredibly disgustingly parasocial audience has been complaining about, is lack of communication from CoryxKenshin. Him disappearing for months at a time and not saying a word to his dearly beloved audience. Now look, firstly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that CoryxKenshin didn't mention the accusations that he's faced whilst he's been gone in a 30-second shitter update. Because regardless if you think that these accusations against Cory's name are false, true, whatever it may be, I do think it's important that he talks about them to a certain extent, for a few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it may be, to put his side of the story out there. Ultimately, I can't see CoryxKenshin just ignoring the accusations that he's faced whilst he's been gone. These accusations blew up across the internet, and as well, he responded when people accused him of looking at some girl's arse. I think he's probably going to respond to a certain extent here. I was actually just recording that part of the video when CoryxKenshin dropped an official response, not only to his Parasocial fans and their critiques of him, but also the Panda allegations. So in this video he recently uploaded, he addresses his fan critiques first, and then the Panda situation, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to take a look at the Panda stuff first, and then what he said in response to his Parasocial audience.
The video. Let's see if everyone's been paying attention. I'm just a regular guy. Now, I want to briefly talk about the Panda situation. If you thought I was going to come on here and air out all my public stuff and give you guys tea and, oh, she did this and I did this, and but she did that, and oh, I did, you clearly haven't been watching me very long.
Now look, when it comes to accusations like this, where the accuser, in this case Panda, has messed up several times, backtracked, lied, got things wrong and messed up and made the situation incredibly messy, CoryxKenshin doesn't need to expose all of his private stuff to prove himself innocent, because this person isn't trustworthy. All he needs to do is respond to a few claims and give his side of the story. Because ultimately Panda hasn't given enough evidence, hasn't really done enough for Cory to even warrant to share lots of his private information. I mean, recently Panda put this on their TikTok trying to tease some evidence that they allegedly have, but it's all blurred out and they haven't bothered sharing a link to any of it.
This is another part that I've already recorded, so I'm going to splice it here. Next, I want to talk about the Panda situation. Number 1. Number 2, here's proof that I had already apologized to her.
The message reads, "That was the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever, Lo. I sincerely wish that everything comes back in early stages possible. You can beat this, I know you can. I treated you bad and I apologize for that, but I get it. This is more important though. I'll pray for you middly and may God will prevail." Also glad Cory cleared up the fact that Panda never actually accused him of ASA, because Panda was incredibly stubborn with actually trying to clear that up. They put it on their story and then was very flip-floppy with actually trying to address that properly, and lots of people still genuinely believe that was the accusation that Panda was making.
Over 5 years ago. Coincidentally enough, this is in the exact same text message that she herself cropped when all of this started.
Look, when it comes to Cory's track record here and how he's shown the proof, and then when it comes to Panda's track record and how she showed the proof, I'm way more inclined to believe CoryKenshin here over Panda.
But you've gone on to hit me up multiple times.
Her being the one who actively reached out several times also goes against her narrative that she was trying to form against Cory.
Now, I would like to apologize for the video that she uploaded where I made a very insensitive attempt at humor. I cringed extremely hard looking at myself from 8 years ago, but what I was talking about was something that should never be joked about.
This is in reference to this video that she posted that blew up across the internet.
I'm still on.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep? Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep.
Look, whilst it's very clear that he was joking and 99% of people saw he was joking, unless you were being incredibly disingenuous and you were taking this out of context to frame a negative narrative towards CoryKenshin, I'm glad he cleared this up. I'm also glad that he issued an apology and realized that what he said could be interpreted as insensitive.
Community, leave her alone. Don't bother her. Don't bother anybody. Keep it about the gameplays. Keep it about the videos. Do not harass anybody.
This was a criticism that Panda gave Cory recently in the MavAttack video, saying that, look, CoryKenshin needs to say something about how his fans have treated me and how they've come against me. So there we go, she can stop complaining about that, but as well, I don't necessarily think this is necessary. She put something out there publicly, people are going to respond, people are going to react, and people are going to have their side. That's all CoryKenshin has said about the Panda accusations against him. Now, if this was a situation where the evidence was 10 times more damning, there was 10 times more evidence, where she hadn't backtracked, retracted, and lied, then yeah, this would not be enough. But ultimately this is enough because Panda is unreliable and has basically zero evidence to back up her claims. The burden of proof is on Panda to try and prove her claims, not the other way around. Now look, if Panda turns around, screws her head on, stops having a breakdown and actually proves what she's saying, disproves what Cory said here and brings actual evidence, then yeah, Cory's gonna have to say a lot more, but ultimately, for right now, this does suffice. Moving on from the Panda stuff, a lot of this video is actually going over criticisms that he's received from his fan base and actually talking about his parasocial audience.
For you guys, I think at the top of that list is communication. Can we all agree with that? My communication is trash, has been trash this entire time, but I think recently, especially with everything that's been happening, my weakness is being amplified. You know, we got strengths and weaknesses on this channel, and communication has always been a weakness. With drama, with controversy, and everything in between, communication is, you know, if that's a strong suit, then you can kind of navigate through these things a lot easier. And I don't want y'all to take it personal, like it's just a samurai thing or a YouTube thing where my communication just sucks here. No, it sucks everywhere.
Now look, I'm gonna be quite frank, I honestly don't give a flying fuck if CoryKenshin doesn't communicate well with his audience. What I do care about communication though is in the midst of a controversy or accusations, and I would much rather CoryKenshin takes his time with communicating with his audience and people in general about those things than rushing into a response.
You know, I just want to say, man, don't worry about it. You know, people be parasocial, blah, 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 blah. So that got me curious. I'm like, what's happening now? I re-download TikTok. Worst mistake. No. Actually, I think it was really good. I think it was really good to get a pulse of where the community is at. Because again, I'm a regular guy, but we're going to get back to that. I want y'all to understand that's going to be the central theme of this video. I go on TikTok and people are slam dunking on me. Deservedly so. Poor communication, poor consistency, takes advantage of his fans.
Whilst ultimately, as a viewer, there might be genuinely some valid criticisms there, and I've seen some genuine valid stuff, but ultimately I do think a lot of people are being disingenuous. People are acting like CoryKenshin owes you something, when ultimately CoryKenshin doesn't owe you a thing.
List of regular guy stuff, regular human guy stuff that I've done that I would like to share with you all. I've stolen before. I've cussed before. I say the word again. I've hurt people. I've been hurt by people. I've lied about things. Oh, this one's good. I can be selfish. I've hated. I've loved. Oh, I think this one's really going to resonate with you guys. I've broken promises.
Ultimately, it's crazy that CoryxKenshin has to do this. I think it's a bit weird that he has done this ultimately, but this does go to show you how parasocial his audience is, that he feels like this is something that he needs to do, read out a bunch of stuff to prove that he's a quote-unquote normal guy.
It makes sense. It's someone that you see online, you watch all their stuff, you kind of form, dare I say, a parasocial, or maybe not even parasocial. Maybe you just kind of subconsciously begin to depend on this person. Man, I really started all of this video stuff because I liked gameplays. I liked doing skits and sketches.
I'd be really interested to see how this goes down with CoryxKenshin fans, and more importantly, those ones who could be classed as parasocial or almost obsessed with Cory. I'd be very interested to see what they have to say about this over the next coming week.
Briefly talk about the Panda situation. If you thought I was going to come on here and air out all my public stuff and give you guys tea and, oh, she did this and I did this, and but she did that and, oh, I did.
CoryxKenshin follow-up from his most recent response to the whole Panda accusation. If you're unaware, yesterday CoryxKenshin posted a pretty lengthy video where he addressed some fan concern, his parasocial fans, and as well accusations he was facing from Panda Ninja.
Oh, the Panda situation. Number one. Number two, here's proof that I had already apologized to her over 5 years ago. Coincidentally enough, this is in the exact same text message that she herself cropped when all of this started. But you've gone on to hit me up multiple times. Now, I would like to apologize for the video that she uploaded where I made a very insensitive attempt at humor. I cringed extremely hard looking at myself from 8 years ago, but what I was talking about was something that should never be joked
Now,
about.
whilst CoryxKenshin's response was brief, this is everything that needed to be said, and this is a good response. We broke this fully down yesterday and explained why, but in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the fallout of this response. But before we dive into it, if you haven't already, please consider leave like, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell. It really helps with the channel, especially if you do enjoy the content. But without further ado, let's dive into the topic at hand. Now, the first thing I want to take a look at in this video in reference to the fallout of Cory's response is Panda Ninja's initial response to this, because it is absolutely mind-blowingly dumb.
The only fucking thing I agree with in that whole video that I saw clips of, because I didn't bother to even watch it.
How can you make a several story long response to a response that you haven't even bothered to watch?
Is that he told y'all to leave me alone. And y'all willingly still come in my inbox. Number two is, I am not the girl you used to know. And when you willingly decided to blow the trumpet or the dog whistle like you just did, there's consequences to that. Now I have to fucking do a video. Unfortunately, we had to let this shit drag just because you did what you fucking did. Stupid ass.
How can you get annoyed at CoryxKenshin responding to something that you made public? You're the one that made these accusations publicly against CoryxKenshin. He then has every right to respond. How arrogant, ignorant do you have to be to get irritated and annoyed that CoryxKenshin decided to respond to something that you made publicly and levied against him publicly first?
And to these choppy, yappy, gappy motherfuckers in my inbox, y'all could suck a hole while we're here so I could fucking get this shit out of the way. I don't have a husband. I said that several times to several people in several different forms and ways and shit like that. If y'all want me to speak Korean in Spanish, I could do that.
I have absolutely zero understanding why Panda Ninja feels it necessary to constantly respond to CoryxKenshin fans. This is incredibly impulsive, and this is not doing you any favours for actually getting people to listen to you. You look genuinely mental. Firstly, why are you giving these people attention? Secondly, there is literally zero point in responding to them because they are CoryxKenshin fans and are not going to listen to you regardless. And thirdly, why wouldn't you just rather focus on your own story and gathering evidence for your side? How she has actively approached this situation is baffling to me.
And clout and relevance, like, y'all just not understand the point here. I don't care about any of that. And he knows I don't give a about any of that. But what I do give a about is the lie. Oh, you guys are gonna see very soon.
I just don't understand why you are hyping up your story and your accusations against CoryxKenshin like the next Avengers movie. If you have something against him that you want to share, including proof, do it. Why are you hyping it up? This is something that Panda Ninja has done a lot. She most recently, on that clock app, posted a video where she's blurred potential evidence against CoryxKenshin and hyped it up. She hasn't bothered to show it, she hasn't bothered to link it or tell people where to find it. She's just hyping up and trying to say, look, there's this evidence, but you can't say it. And she wonders why people might think that she's doing this for money or attention, or maybe people aren't believing her.
And y'all keep saying the fucking 7-8 years shit. Oh my god, like, I don't know how many times you guys are gonna say that shit. So we're just gonna address it right now, because I'm not gonna address this in the video that's coming. When I decided to put my shit out there initially was because to show and talk about my experience. And I literally said it in the nicest way possible, and you guys fucking did a bunch of shit to fucking mock it and fucking rip it apart.
Why does that matter to you? Why does that change anything that CoryxKenshin's fans have been eating you alive? You wanted to share your story, your experience. Why do you actively care what they have to say about it? The only other person that you should realistically care that they have to say about is CoryxKenshin.
If you guys have any idea, if you guys read the letter of what type of abuses were involved here, because of Cory, I had to go to therapy for 1.5 years. Just him alone. And y'all think I don't want this shit to fuck end and everybody move on with their lives. I want to move on with my life. I do. Like, I don't want to keep dealing with this shit. But people don't want to be honest.
So that's what Panda Ninja has had to say so far over on the Clock app about CoryxKenshin's response. It's so bizarre to me how annoyed they actively got that CoryxKenshin actively responded to them after they're the one that made everything public against him. Like, yes, if you make accusations against somebody publicly, there is a 99% chance they're going to respond at some point. And if they do, you can't complain about it, you've got to suck it up. It does seem like Panda Ninja is going to be doing another full video response to CoryxKenshin, so we will see where they goes. But in the meantime, MavAttack has actually made yet again another video on CoryxKenshin. He genuinely just comes off as obsessed at this point.
The fuck?
Where's Cory, man? Where's Cory, man? Where's Cory?
Has anybody seen CoryxKenshin?
Hey, would you tell CoryxKenshin to upload?
Where in the world is CoryxKenshin?
Have you seen this man?
I honestly find this just incredibly bizarre, seeing as MavAttack thinks that CoryxKenshin has abused women. Why would you make a video like this if that's something that you were trying to push actively against Cory? I'm sorry, this genuinely does feel like I'm watching somebody's descent into a mental breakdown. Why would you do this? This isn't like 2016, 2017 time anymore. I don't know why he's doing what iDubbbz did with Leafy's chin. This situation is an absolute mess, and it is so hard to take MavAttack seriously when he's doing things like this, and it's so hard to take Panda Ninja seriously when she's doing the things that she's doing. The situation is a mess, and the people actually posting these accusations against CoryxKenshin aren't helping themselves whatsoever.
Hey, Matt, where's CoryxKenshin hiding?
No! There's no way. Where is he? He wouldn't just come back and not address the allegations against him, right?
How embarrassing that Mav has posted this video exactly around the same time that CoryxKenshin did respond to the Panda Ninja stuff, where Mav is saying that, you know, oh, he's not going to respond. Oh, surely, you know, he's not going to come back and just not respond to the accusations, right? I would have honestly just privated this video out of pure embarrassment.
There's no way he would just come back and resume as if nothing fucking happened, right? He can't just come back and not address the allegations.
And at the exact same time this was posted, CoryxKenshin addressed the accusations. I would have again just removed this out of embarrassment. And as well, could you imagine trying to film this in public when there's a possibility that someone might walk by and see you just start grabbing your head, spinning around, and start shouting out, "CoryxKenshin, why haven't you responded to the accusations yet?"
No way you would ignore all the noise you're trying to output to wipe increase your output. Make as many videos as you can. You can't wipe away the pain and the hurt.
Hey, man, where's Cory? Where's Cory?
Fucking pussy. You don't stand on shit. You never have. You never will. Not only did I not know who you were, but this shit that you've accumulated has enabled you to turn yourself into a fucking monster.
Again, super embarrassing because at the same time that he posted this, CoryxKenshin did stand his ground, did stand on his shit, and actively responded to Panda Ninja. And as well, I love how these people talk about CoryxKenshin like he's some type of axe-wielding murderer.
Samurai, sit down!
I bet when he recorded that, he thought he was just so incredibly hard and funny.
Zero accountability. Why am I not surprised?
Dropped a 30-second clip. Did you want him to respond in that 30-second comeback video? How was he meant to take any accountability whatsoever in a 30-second comeback video to let people know that yes, I am back now?
To the countless women that you have done irreparable damage to, I hope these 100 videos are worth it. Motherfucker!
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
All unsubstantiated claims. Why do we keep throwing several women out there into the fucking void, acting like that means anything? There is no proof. Half these people haven't even spoken up. Currently, Panda Ninja is one of the only ones actually pushing any accusations, and she has barely any proof to back up her own claim. I would love to see any scrap of evidence coming about these claims. I would love to take a look at any pieces of evidence that they would be willing to show. But ultimately, at this moment in time, there has basically been nothing. So I don't exactly know what they want people to do here.
Coincidentally enough, this is in the exact same text message that she herself cropped when all of this started.
Nobody was like questioning you, asking you for a screen recording, asking for you for screenshots, asking you for a video.
Going to be covering some recent updates in the CoryxKenshin situation, including Panda Ninja's response to CoryxKenshin's response. You can already see and hear CoryxKenshin fans thumping down below in the comments saying do not give her attention, do not give any of these people attention, but I've covered Cory's response, so it's only fair that I give the same treatment to Panda Ninja's response. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please consider leave a like, subscribing, and hit the notification bell. It really helps out the channel, especially if you do enjoy the content. But without further ado, let's dive into some most recent updates with the CoryxKenshin situation and Panda Ninja's response. So the first thing I want to mention to just get it out of the way, as I don't want to focus on this too much, is MavAttack uploaded another really weird CoryxKenshin video. Of course, the gimmick here where they try not to laugh at CoryxKenshin with MavAttack is the fact that MavAttack won't laugh at CoryxKenshin because he hates him. So it's just a lot of sitting there basically saying nothing. But in regards to MavAttack, that's all I wanted to focus on. So now our attention is drawn over to Panda Ninja, who for the past week or so has been posting some very weird stuff. So firstly, Panda has removed her original CoryxKenshin videos and now has uploaded some really weird AI stuff about CoryxKenshin. So here's an AI generated picture of who I suppose is CoryxKenshin with some big red demon eyes. The caption reads, "Even the devil clothes himself as an angel of light, yet the mirror of the soul unveils his horns." Like I said, this isn't just a one-off post. There are so many of these posts on Panda Ninja's account. Here we've got another demon CoryxKenshin with the caption, "Every reflection is a door, every crack a warning." I'm not going to keep putting it out, but every single one of these AI CoryxKenshin images has this devil reference to him. I honestly don't know what Panda Ninja is thinking by posting this stuff. I think it's very clear that she just doesn't give a flying fuck what anybody has to say now. She's just posting this for basically the love of the game. But on the flip side of that, what you're going to notice with her actual response to CoryxKenshin is she's still very much trying to prove to the audience, to you the viewer, that what she's saying is the truth and that CoryxKenshin is lying. So I honestly don't know why she's posting this, when ultimately if you see this, you're probably not going to listen to her. The crowd stares unaware, the mirror feeds on their gaze. A crown in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. The cruelest trick of control is making puppets believe they are free. He fears not their silence, but the moment they speak. The chains at my feet dissolve, not my voice, and this image is just really bizarre. Clearly she still wants to be listened to some extent, that's why she's still publicly responding and still publicly defending herself. She wants her side of the story out there and people to pay attention to her side of the story. People aren't going to pay attention when they see stuff like this because you look genuinely mental. After Panda Ninja decided to stop doing the whole AI CoryxKenshin weird devil images, she then started to do an AI countdown to her response. Last chance to pray. The reckoning drops in one day.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
I'm sorry, but are we genuinely meant to be taking this seriously? For one, why are you hyping up your meant to be serious response to CoryxKenshin, somebody who responded to accusations that you posed against him? I thought you'd be taking this a bit more seriously. Secondly, there is no hype for this response. You are shouting into the ether. And put on a story. Tonight they scream, tomorrow they fall quiet. Truth drops in one day. Nobody is taking that seriously. Nobody's taking a look at this and going, oh yeah, Cory is absolutely fucked. Look, let's be fair, let's take a look at her response video and what she has to say. I'm sorry, what are you genuinely doing here? For one, we're going to talk about the absolute care and effort that went into this. The fact that she went outside to film this, so big props there. Secondly, we're going to talk about the absolute high level, high budget effects and CGI that's been applied to this video. And as well, the fact that she printed off those weird AI pictures that she did for her TikTok. So that's some impressive work. And ladies and gentlemen, some of your viewers, before you get distracted and think that possibly we're watching some high big budget Avengers movie, no, you've got to remember that we are watching a response to CoryxKenshin's response to serious accusations that were made against him.
Apology.
Any reason why you called me specifically? Thinking about you.
Apology.
Did I possibly messed up something good? How did this come to mind, lol? Lol, why does it matter?
Apology.
I've been thinking about you for months and the mistakes I made. I don't know what to say. I know exactly what to say. I love when somebody flashes out random messages and random screenshots as quote-unquote proof where we have no idea the context to, and they flash them up on screen so nobody can actually take a look at their quote-unquote evidence.
Apology.
Do you want me to give you the things I have of you, or do you want me to throw them away? It's not much stuff, obviously, but it meant something at the time. That's up to you. I'm keeping mine, but yeah, that's a preference.
Apology.
Why did you say you didn't want to talk anymore? I still want to see you and stuff. You can say I don't care, but that's not true. I think seeing you in person would be good, because you confused me. I couldn't tell that you cared or not because I base things off of action. I honestly do not get the point of posting these messages. This is normal relationship stuff that you've taken screenshots of, and now you're publicly blasting for absolutely no reason. This literally does not prove anything.
Apology.
Why wouldn't I want to? You show me so much love. You know I have love for you. Always will.
Apology.
Do you want to see me? Like, for real? Not now, obviously, but whenever. Of course, I want to see you.
Apology.
Alright, love, my fuck. It's definitely. New York is near and dear to my heart, right next to you. Well, there's some of that big budget stuff again. Now she's got the production quality and cost to be able to do a robot voice. I think it happened because I thought about coming to New York, and I can't think about New York without thinking of you. I'm okay just trying to live my life, but overall I'm okay. Is that a bad thing, lol? Lol, she said, is that a bad thing? You know how fond these memories are to me. I love New York because of you. LMAO, so you did the dance on purpose? I had a feeling you might catch it, so you did it on purpose. Laughing face. Just say it. Of course I did. I knew it. I saw your live stream and just wanted to say I'm proud of you for not giving up. I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Odd Talks had a lot to do with it. I really appreciate you. And it's so weird to flash up all these messages, right? Because she's clearly done this for a reason, but nobody's going to pause this realistically. Nobody's going to try and zoom in on reading these messages. She's not going to explain the context, so what's the actual point of doing this? Hey, what's up? What you doing? Just waking up. Do you still hate me? I don't hate you. Alright, is that what you wanted to know? No. Okay, so what's up? You still seeing someone? Why'd you ask? Because I'm trying to F your life up some more. What? That was a joke, jeez, lol, I was just asking. I do a few things, why is that? Didn't like who I was before I evolved. So you're saying you weren't being yourself, so who were you when you were with me? Not fully, some scared little boy. I have no reason not to be your friend, while you have plenty of reasons not to be mine. I can be your friend. Just so we're clear, that's not why I messaged you. It wasn't perfect, but I knew for sure where my heart was. I wish you told me what I did exactly, because then I can tell my part as to why we wouldn't have worked either. I remember one time I saw you all hugged up with somebody, can't remember, on a Twitch stream, and after that I was like, no way I trust this girl, and we're trying the long distance thing. On top of me being way immature, I was 23, 24 when we were talking. I was trying to figure out what I wanted at the time. I'm a lot older now, but I recall having some strong feelings for you as well. We had fun together.
Let's get this shit over with. Let's see if anyone has been paying attention. I'm just a regular ex-girlfriend. Cory said I never messaged him after his so-called apology. That is a lie. Number 1, screen recording. Interesting. You said there was no more messages.
For full transparency, I'm going to play what CoryxKenshin said in his response.
Here's proof that I had already apologized to her over 5 years ago. Coincidentally enough, this is in the exact same text message that she herself cropped when all of this started. But you've gone on to hit me up multiple times.
Look at the difference between this and this. Sure as hell look like 2 different messages to me. For the simple fact that nobody was like questioning you, Asking you for a screen recording?
Ultimately, you made these accusations against CoryxKenshin. The burden of proof is on you to prove your own claims, even when it comes down to screen recordings and messages. It isn't on CoryxKenshin to prove your accusations against him, it's on you to actually show the evidence for your own claims. And I also love as well that she's not actually going through these messages, she's just putting them up on the screen in one of the lowest quality possible, so people actually can't take a look at what she's saying in these messages.
Asking for you for screenshots?
I believe what she's talking about on the right is what she was going through with cancer and her cancer diagnosis.
Asking you for a video? I did all fucking 3.
I feel so bad for you having to go through this. All I can do is hope and pray for a speedy recovery for you. Try and eat and do everything to expedite this recovery and ensure there aren't any complications. You gotta be strong, many people need you here still. That seems pretty supportive to me, so is the claim ultimately that the message that CoryxKenshin showed in his video was the doctored one, not her side?
Here you go. Here's the screen recording for the rest of those messages that he did not add. Here's the video of me showing that all those messages are real. And we're gonna go to the next step now. Funny how he left those out.
I mean, not really, because they're not the emphasis of your argument or his argument. When actually taking a look at this screen recording, it's just you saying that he's made you feel low and that you can't see the good in CoryxKenshin, and if only people saw the real him. Also seems to be spot on by the fact that Cory didn't ultimately respond to her message response to his more kind message to her. Very out of the blue, and then she issues a threat by saying, "Nor can I say what my friends who actually care about me will do with those all messages you have sent me for sex."
The only reason why I cropped that message in the first place was I felt like when I first dropped my letter, I felt like that was very personal for me to share. Regardless of what I was sharing already, that cancer message was literally me telling you things that were personal because I felt like I was going to die because of the stage I was in for my cancer.
Ultimately, you can choose to share whatever you would like and keep some stuff private, but if you are making public accusations and you, what seems like maliciously and disingenuously, screenshot a message and crop out all the other context, yeah, people might raise an eyebrow like that.
And for you to deliberately show everybody the message and make it seem like I fucking cropped that on purpose, you are fucking cruel. You are so fucking cruel.
You made that accusation using that certain piece of evidence, so CoryxKenshin responded showing the context to that piece of evidence. That is only fair. You decided to publicize that, CoryxKenshin responded. He has every right to do so.
A real apology comes with accountability and changed behavior. If you continuously do the same behavior over and over and over again, it's deliberate this time. You are not a genuine person. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to your fans about who you really are and how you treat women around you.
That's just incredibly broad and doesn't even make a lot of sense. A lot of this response is just throwing shit out there, hoping it sticks, and just talking in rhymes and riddles. You're not the fucking Riddler.
That shit's gonna burn you in the end, not me.
Why has she done that? What are you doing? Instead of putting everything into one big video or one concise play, she's doing several separate parts, which is just absolutely fantastic. Ultimately, if she hadn't done already, she's made a complete and entire mess of this. From her weird AI posts on the Clock app, to the weird rhymes and riddles in her response, to doing this in weird separate parts, I honestly don't even know what she's doing anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for today's compilation and video on CoryxKenshin, hopefully wrapping up this situation once and for all. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing, but I've been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video. Goodbye.